Gospel according to Mark. When the Pharisees with some scribes who had come from Jerusalem gathered around Jesus, they observed that some of his disciples ate their meals with unclean, that is, unwashed hands. For the Pharisees, and in fact all Jews, do not eat without carefully washing their hands, keeping the tradition of their elders. And on coming from the marketplace, they do not eat without purifying themselves. And there are many other things that they traditionally observed, the purification of cups and jugs and kettles and beds. So the Pharisees and scribes questioned him, "Why do your disciples not follow the tradition of the elders, but instead eat a meal with unclean hands?" He responded, "Well did Isaiah prophesy about you hypocrites, as it is written, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines human precepts. You disregard God's commandment, but cling to human tradition." He summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. Nothing that enters one from outside can defile that person, but the things that come out from within are what defile. From within people, from their hearts, come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. All these evils come from within, and they defile." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. A simple test was carried out in the major cities of the United States to find out which city is the most honest and which is the most dishonest. Apparently they placed some bottles of juice, on the streets, same price, and then a box next to it, a see-through box where you put in your money following the honor system. And they found out that the most honest city in the United States is Atlanta, Georgia. Do you want to know where San Jose stood? I don't know either. But we were shocked to hear that the most dishonest city in the United States is, can you guess?
Washington.
I hear a lot of New York.
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. I wonder if the concentration of so many politicians made a difference to the test. What was most dishonest in Washington, D.C. in this test was not only that people did not follow the honor system of putting money into the box, but there were some that even took money from the box. Now, these test results were given to scientists. They would look into the human brain. They would try to find out where is the center of the decisions you make, of honesty and of dishonesty. Because we know that the center of thinking and decision making for us human beings lies in the brain. But it was not so for the Jews, and not so in the time of Jesus. The center of thinking and of decision making for them lies not here in the brain, but here in the heart. The heart is the center of the decision that we make. And that is why today in the gospel today, Jesus, speaking out against the hypocrisy of the scribes and Pharisees, quotes the prophet Isaiah and says, "This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." The scribes and the Pharisees were having a problem with the disciples of Jesus because they were eating without washing their hands, without doing that ritual purification that they were required to do. We know that Moses received the 10 Commandments in Mount Sinai. And then afterwards, the leadership came along and they created 613 other rules and regulations. 10 were not enough. And there were all kinds of purification rituals. Not only of washing your hands before meals, but of cleaning cups and jugs and kettles and even their beds. And Jesus is saying very clearly, it is not the outside of the cup that defiles you, but what is inside the cup. And the cup could symbolize our hearts. It is what comes from within your heart that defiles you. And in your heart can be found the long list at the end of the gospel today. Theft and murder, and licentiousness, greed and malice and adultery and so on and so forth. And all we have to do is watch the news or read the newspapers to see what comes from our hearts as human beings. Recently, the murder in cold blood of that TV reporter and her cameraman. From the heart of somebody who was a disgruntled employee, was upset about whatever happened, and in cold blood took the lives of these two innocent people. And then Ashley Madison, the website for adultery, and they find out that there are 40 million subscribers in the world, and they all thought it was going to be a big secret, and now they're outed. And so on and so forth. The evil that is in our world comes from the heart. But on the other hand, also, when the cup is clean from the inside, it is goodness and power that can come from the heart as well. Recently, we had a press conference from one of our ex-presidents, President Jimmy Carter. I don't know whether he was a good president or not, because I wasn't here at that time. What we all know is that the hostages at the embassy were kidnapped and kept hostage for 444 days during his time as president. But afterwards, when he left office, he continued to live his Christian life from the heart. And he had the press conference to let everybody know that his cancer has spread, and now there are 4 spots on the brain. But it was only a brief mention of what he's going through. But throughout the entire press conference, he continued to smile. Because he said, I accept whatever comes my way. He had peace within that was expressed in his smile. He said, of course, I've got to slow down my life a little bit now. And he's 90 years old. But he wants to continue teaching Sunday school. So remember, it's not too late to be a catechist, you know. Faithful. And then he will continue with Habitat for Humanity and with spreading democracy in our world and reconciling conflicting, opposing parties as he has done for so long. But most importantly, announcing his cancer, he continued to smile. And that smile can only come from a clean heart. Where your heart is, there will your treasure also be. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and a steadfast spirit. Give to me, within me. If today we hear God's voice, harden not your hearts. So brothers and sisters, how's your heart these days? hearts, we bring our prayers and needs to the Lord.
For the church, that we may experience an ever deeper conversion of mind and heart, as we allow God's word to instruct and free us. We pray.
Lord,
For our nation, that when debate divides us and our political leaders, that we may always seek the wisdom of God and endure in faithfulness to one another. We pray. For the protection of all Christians from religious persecution and martyrdom, and may there be an end to acts of terrorism at home and abroad. We pray.
Lord,
For all who are suffering from wildfires, may God renew their hope, give strength to those fighting the fires, and ease the weather conditions. We pray. For an end to the cycle of violence in our country, for victims and their families who have suffered because of violence, for those who work to protect us from terrorism in our world. We pray. For our fellow parishioners, friends, and family who are sick, today we pray for Ann Eck, Tony Clancy, Jim Rapinski. For those who have asked for our prayers, for those who care for the sick, for those who are dying, may they never lose hope. We pray. For those who have died, Bernard John Behan, Donald Erickson, Gina Pepinati, Ed Olson, Tony Zimmer, and all the dead, may they rest with the Lord for all eternity in the heavenly kingdom. We pray.
loving God, clean and purify our hearts, and let our hearts be the indwelling of your Holy Spirit. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.